Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to my next virtual masterclass. I've been trying to put a new one on every single week, sort of just after the summer holidays. And this week we've got a stretch kind of mobility focus masterclass, which is all about improving the mobility of your neck, your shoulders and your spine, which a lot of people struggle with. I know back before the summer I did a hip special masterclass where I did a masterclass all about improving the mobility of your hips and the flexibility of your hips without stretching. So if any of you didn't catch that masterclass and you would like a copy of it, if you're in my VIP group, then you just head over into the topics under stretches and instructor help videos and you'll be able to see that. If you're not in my VIP group, then you can always purchase previously recorded masterclasses. Just message me and I can send you the link for that. So if you're joining me today, let me know. I am going to use some different pieces of kit, but don't worry if you haven't got them. So I am going to use a spiky ball. I am going to use a long band. I'm also going to show you some stuff with a foam roller as well. Now, if you haven't got a foam roller, don't worry, because you can do all of this without the foam roller, or you can roll up a towel and use that as well. That's absolutely fine. Hey, Nick, how are you? I hope you're okay, lovely. So hopefully that all sounds good. Make sure you've got a drink, gang. And you're just going to really listen to your body. We're going to hopefully feel really good by the end of this session. 45 minutes where I'm going to be focusing on improving the mobility of your neck, the mobility of your shoulders and the mobility of your spine. I don't want the music to be too overpowering, gang, but I am using the new Deep House Chill by Pure Energy Go. So if you haven't got a copy of that mix and you want it, head over to Pure Energy Go and you can get a copy from there. So let me know if that all sounds good. And we are going to get going. I can check at my end as well, just to make sure that all sounds good. Yeah, I think that's all good. I know, Nick, I love the music as well. It's such a cool, funky mix. And it's great for, nothing too chilled with regards to kind of Pilates, mind and body, that kind of stuff as well from there. So let's do this. I want to give you a little bit of theory first, gang. And I know some of you may have heard this before, but I just want to reiterate this with regards to the mobility, with regards to the body. Okay, so a lot of the time, people's lack of mobility comes from a couple of different reasons. One could be the fact that they just don't move. And they don't move enough. Maybe they live a bit of a sedentary lifestyle. Maybe they have a sedentary job and then they don't really do very much activity. The second one can be through past injury. So when there has been an injured area, say for instance, someone has injured their shoulder, there will be scar tissue, and that scar tissue is never as pliable as normal tissue. So with regards to the scar tissue, you need to work into that area a little bit deeper and a little bit stronger. If they don't work into that area on a regular basis, then movement definitely will be reduced. Also, from a psychological point of view, generally, I've known people in the past, and especially this is more to do with the neck and the spine, when they have injured an area on their back or on their neck or in their shoulder, they will find that because they're fearful of movement, they're scared that if they move, it's going to hurt again. They reduce their movement down. And then obviously that has a knock-on effect with regards to the range of movement, mobility that they've got. Now, we always say it, we get it from our very good friend Tom Waldron, movement really is medicine. And the more you move, the better you're going to feel, the better your life is going to be. When you don't move, you are preventing your body from being able to function properly and optimally. We want to really make sure that the body is kind of moving through all ranges of movement. Now, unfortunately, the industry that we've been in, I've been in for the last 24 years, over the years, we've been told different things, which has inhibited our own movement, but also our clients' movement as well. So I remember way back when I did my original training, sort of 24 years ago, there were lots of things that we were told, we believed that were truth, but actually were completely misconception. But we were told them because the industry we were in was fearful. If we were told, don't take your head back, that will hurt the neck, you'll damage your spine. Don't extend the spine back, that's going to hurt your back. All these things that we were told essentially were complete and utter rubbish, but we believed it because we were told it. And then, of course, we passed that information over to our participants. So we say to them, never take the head back because that's going to damage the bones in the back of the neck. And I remember being told that specifically. I also remember reiterating that to my participants and to instructors when I first started delivering things like ETM, because we were still told that. But actually, what the real truth is that every single joint in your body, and bearing in mind, obviously, the shoulder is a big joint, it's a ball and socket joint. You've got a pivot joint in the neck, which is your axis and your atlas that sit together. And then your spine is made up of all these kind of slightly movable joints. A joint to remain functional needs three things every single day, and that is compression, decompression, and movement. And it needs to work through the full range of movement. I know I've said this in my group before. I've done it on a lot of instructor help videos as well. But actually, the real science behind what's going on with regards to the spine is that we lose the blood supply to our discs once we reach the age of 7 years old, which is ridiculous to think of this. So once you get to 8, you have already started to lose the blood supply to the discs. So the only way that you can actually feed those discs, those intravertebral discs between each vertebrae, to remain healthy, to remain strong, to remain functional, to keep them plump so that they don't degenerate, is through movement. We need to feed them with those nutrients, and the only way we can feed them is through movement. So we need to be working each area through the full range that's available. So if we think about our neck, now there are certain movements we can't do with our neck because of the structure of it. So with our neck, we can flex it, we can extend it, we can laterally flex, and we can laterally extend, and we can also rotate, but we can't do a movement like circumduction. We're not an owl. We can't move our head all the way round. However, with our shoulder, we can definitely take this, through full range of movement. Again, we can flex and extend. We can take this into lateral flexion and extension. We can go into horizontal flexion and extension. We can rotate the shoulder. We can pronate and retract, protract and retract. We can elevate and depress, and we can circumduct. Our shoulder has got full range of movement. Whereas our spine, again, there are limited things that we can do. We can flex and we can extend. We can rotate. We can laterally flex and extend. But again, we can't circumduct, we can't retract, protract, we can't elevate and depress. So there's different movement patterns that are going to be available at each area. And what we want to be able to do is make sure that us and our clients can work through those full ranges. So I'm going to take you through a series of mobility drills which will help to improve the movement of those areas. However, as always, we have to be mindful of any pathologies that might be going on in certain areas. Now, there is just one type of client that we would never recommend to actually extend the neck coming backwards, and that's if you are a disability specific instructor and you are working with clients who have got Down syndrome. And Down syndrome, unfortunately, they have an extra bone in their neck, and then it can be deemed as controversial to actually extend through the neck. But unless you are working with Down syndrome clients, everybody else absolutely fine to extend, to flex, to laterally flex and extend, and to rotate from there. Obviously, if any movement causes pain, and I mean not just a discomfort as in like a tightness or a muscle ache, I mean ouch, sharp pain that hurts, then obviously we would never ever do it. So just be mindful of that. Likewise, if there is any kind of, certain pathologies with regards to the shoulder and any movement causes a sharp pain, then again, we would not do it. Anything that actually causes a flare up. So if all of a sudden the joint starts to become inflamed, if it becomes hot, if it becomes red, if it becomes sore, then again, we would not do it. With regards to the spine, if there's any pathologies in the spine, say for instance, like a disc herniation, and we're in the acute stage of a disc herniation, I don't mean, somebody who essentially had a disc herniation 5 years ago, I'm talking, sort of within the last 12 months, then forward flexion can aggravate it. Not so much, kind of like in a roll position, but it's more of kind of like a sit-up position or kind of a forward bend if you're seated can aggravate because of the compression into the spine. And osteoporosis, again, with regards to osteoporosis, forward flexion again can aggravate that condition. So unless it's supported, so if you're taking the hands onto the thighs and they're supported, or if they can come all the way down to the floor and the hands can touch the floor and they're supported, if they're kind of hanging around in no man's land, then that wouldn't be advisable. But any other areas, absolutely no problem. If you have any clients who have been diagnosed with spondylolisthesis, then actually extension of the spine when laying, so when laying prone, so say for instance coming into a back extension, those moves are not advisable. However, standing in extension is absolutely fine. It's more when the floor kind of gets in the way. And again, that movement of the extension of the spine, things like swan dive and cobra can aggravate. So we just need to work with regards to what we know about ourselves, what we know about our clients, and make sure that again, we're asking how things feel. So when I'm teaching you guys, I want you to do exactly the same. I want you to listen to your body, do what feels right for you. Anything feels uncomfortable, you don't do it. All right. So hopefully that will make sense. Let's get going. So I'm just going to pop the music on, like I said, in the background. And this isn't a Pilates specific masterclass. This is more of a stretch mobility. Thank you for the hearts. So just stand comfortable for you. Please don't feel like you've got to stand a certain way.
Breathe.
And what I want us to think about is just kind of how these areas feel, first of all, and what's our range of movement like right at the start, and we're going to reflect on that again at the end. So the first thing I want us to do is focus on the shoulders. Bring them up to the ears and back down. Circle all the way around and through. Listen to the shoulders. Are they making a lot of noise? How do they feel? Now circle the other way.
Breathe.
So we're going to be working these shoulders through full range of movement in all those directions that we spoke about earlier. Okay, which direction feels better for you? Is it forward or is it back?
Breathe.
Maybe alternate to do what feels right for you. Now take it into a little bit of elevation and depression. Lift and lower, up and down. How high can you get your shoulders up to your ears? And how low can you drop them? How's that feel for you? What about a little bit of protraction and retraction?
Can you feel me?
Feel free to move the chest. Move the back. How's it feel as you move through?
Yeah.
How far, maybe, can you get your shoulders forward and back? You can move at your own speed. Don't feel like you've got to move at my speed.
Yeah.
Okay, take it up into flexion and extension. Now, hand positions can make a difference with the mobility that you've got in your shoulder. So think about whether or not, if you have your hand facing forwards, can you go back further? Or if you have your palm turned in, can you go back further? So which makes a difference for you? How do they feel?
Can you feel me?
Good. And I want you to start to go back a little bit further now. So move more like a pendulum. Look at my low arm. Squeeze back into that retraction. Well done. But instead of just coming up and down, start to move outwards. So we're opening up here. A little bit further. Great work. As you do it, can you turn your hands into a rotation? So I'm turning my palms up and down, really twisting through the arms. Recognize that. How does that feel for you? You're going to do this, and we're going to move the hands out, shoulder height. So one arm up, palm up, one arm down. How's that feel as you move into rotation through the shoulder? Good work. Come into horizontal flexion and extension. So we're going to lift, open. Now, same thing here. It makes a difference whether you have your hands facing forwards or you have your palms facing down.
1, 2,
so give it a go.
3, 4.
Big squeeze on the shoulder blades. Try that. Try the different hand positions. Brilliant. Take your right arm. We're going into circumduction. So we're going to circle round. Hand on the shoulder to start. Again, you can move forward or backwards, whichever works for you. For me personally, backwards is better. And then go with a full arm if that feels good for you. So open that shoulder. What's your range of movement like? If you're standing anywhere near a mirror or a window, have a look at your reflection. How close can you get that arm towards the ear? Well done. 2 more. Now, change sides. So what we're going to do is compare right to left. Notice if there is a difference as you're rotating through. Remember, you can go forwards or back and then circle that whole arm when you're ready. Brushing the arm towards the ear. How's that feel? big rotations. That's it. And again. Now alternate right, left. So we're going to start to bring in through the upper back as well, on the top of the spine. You're looking back, opening your chest. These chest muscles if they're tight, they'll affect the mobility in your shoulders. So I want to turn back. Well done. Gang, take your right arm back on the diagonal, now left. Can you lead with your thumb? Turn your palm. How's that feel? You don't have to move as quick as me. Go as slow as you want. Bring the hands forward. We're going to reach back on the right, back on the left. The whole time you're thinking, is there a difference between the right and the left side? How's that feel? Well done. We're going to start to release the upper back, forward into a swoop, back into a stretch. Head's going to start to come down and back. So tapping into neck as well here. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Really let that release. That should feel nice in the chest and the back. Well done. Let's take one more. Good work. Now take the arm, come into lateral movements here as we're coming through. So a little bit of a lateral drop. Perfect. Okay, watch my right arm. I'm going to come up, pull back, extend over, come back, pull again, and then lower, left arm. So we're going to pull back as far as we can, lateral flexion, pull back, and then release. Let me show you side on. Here, lean over, come back, and then lower. Other side, pull back, lean over, pull back further, and then release. So it looks like this. Pull back, lean over, pull back again, and lower. One more time. Feel that real deep release, stretch into the shoulder. Fantastic. The head goes down, chin to chest. Come up, look up. So we're going to allow the head to move now. Feel the stretch in the neck, front of the neck. When you take your head back, notice how that feels. Maybe open your mouth as you look up. As you take your head down, feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Think about that range of movement. Now head is going to come over to lateral flexion and extension. So one side flexes, one side extends. And then you do it on the other side flexes, and then the other side extends. So how close can you get your ear to your shoulder without moving your shoulders? One more. Pressing through. Come into a rotation. We're going to roll our head from shoulder to shoulder. Now I don't want you to roll back. Just coming back to the shoulders. So I'm not circling all the way around. Like I said, we're not an owl. Circumduction is not kind of a joint movement available at the neck, or shouldn't be anyway. Rotation. So have a look at me from a side profile. Coming down and through. So just being aware of how that feels for you as you roll. If you put your head down, chin on your chest, and roll the shoulders back, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your upper back and your neck. Bring that head up, roll the shoulders. Recognize that for you. Perfect. Now from here, bring the hands forwards. We're going to spine twist. Come back to center, change sides. So we're taking our spine into rotation. Pelvis stays facing forwards. So just go back as far as that feels good. Into that spine twist. Well done. So again, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to move the arm back on the diagonal and now low. Bend the knees. High. Good work. And low. See how that feels, yeah? Again, working on this rotation of the spine. Perfect. Bring the arms to shoulder height. Palms face me. Pelvis stays facing forwards. Now, how far round can you go without twisting your pelvis? See how it feels with your palms facing forwards. Now, notice how it feels with your palms down. Does that make a difference? Can you go any further? What about with your palms up? So maybe there is a difference when you turn your hands. Relax there, loosen off. Again, back to our lateral movement of our spine.
The world is just
I'm going to come down, reach. Left arm comes over. So we lift and we reach down the side of the thigh. Good work. Let's go again. So we're moving our spine in lateral flexion and extension. Good work. So this is laterally extending this side, but flexing on the other, and then flexing on that side. Let's go again. So we lift over, come back, and reach down. One more time. Over, come down, and reach. Okay, wrap your arms around the waist, bend through the knees, loosen off. We're going to come into flexion and extension. So I'm turning side on. Again, have your feet comfy for you. Drop your chin. So remember, only coming down as far as you wish. Some of you might want to come down just to the hands on the thighs, just above the knees. Look forward, stretch the back, and then roll up slow. When you come up, you can either just extend tall here, lifting the arms to the ceiling, or taking that into full extension, baby back bend, and then roll again. Articulate, really try and get your chin on your chest, and then push that forward and look forward. So we're trying to body ripple our spine, lift and lower. Some of you might prefer to come all the way down. Still, roll through that back, come into connection with the floor, look forwards, and roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll the shoulders, let's lift. Inhale, exhale, come down. Okay, gang, we're going to come all the way down to the floor. So one of the best moves to improve mobility of the spine is our cat-to-cow. But it's really important not just to move in flexion extension. We need to move laterally and we need to rotate as well. So in order to get that mobility in the back as much as possible. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to take that up into flexion and down into extension. Think about your movement and how much mobility that you've got there. Head down when you go into flexion. Head back when you go into extension. Now, if we come up into flexion and then we move laterally, wag your tail from side to side and look where that's going. So turn the head and then come down into extension and wag your tail from right to left, and that's going to again help with that mobility of your spine. We then rotate round, so we've got a rotation of the spine here, going round in both directions. And the more that you do these 3 movements here into a cat stretch, cat to cow, the more the flexibility of the spine will improve. Very, very safe. You're completely in contact with the floor, and absolutely safe as well with regards to osteoporosis. So no issues there. I want to give you a little mobility drill for your shoulders, and I'm going to do this on the floor, and then I'm going to add it with the foam roller as well. Okay, so see how this feels for you. We're going to take our right shoulder, we're going to come forward as far as you can and drop your armpit down in the floor. Don't worry about your hips being back on your heels, lift them up as high as you can. Now take that arm out wide to the side, turn the head the other way. Bring that arm through into thread like a needle, drop down in the shoulder, lift the hips up. And then lift the arm up high to the sky. Stretch as far as you can. Well done. Change that over to the other side. So we're going to come forward, let the shoulder come down into the floor. Come out wide to the side, turn the head the other way. You can stay in these stretches for as long as you need to. They are so good with regards to your shoulder, releasing tension in your chest and your upper back. Coming through when you're ready, drop down. Let the whole of the weight go into your shoulder, turn that head. And then lift up high to the sky. Now I want you to continue, keep that going. I'm just going to show you it with the foam roller as well. So having your hand elevated. So I'm going to take my right arm forward onto the foam roller. I can now come down lower. I now turn my foam roller to the side. I turn my head the other way, let my shoulder drop. Good work. I move my foam roller and I let that arm come through. I'll show you that the other way as well, don't worry. My shoulder comes down, my arm is lifted. And then from here, hold on to the foam roller and just lift up. So let me show you that the other way. Let the left arm come forward. Let your body drop down lower. Turn it to the side. Look the other way. Drop down into the shoulder. The arm is on the foam roller. I'm going to bring that foam roller through. Let my arm come on. Let my shoulder come down. Well done. And then bring that hand on and lift up. So that little sequence, whether or not that's done with the foam roller or whether it's done, yeah, you could use a ball. Absolutely, Nick. You could use a ball. Or you could also do it with a chair. So let me just show you with a chair as well. So you could do it with a ball or you could do it with a chair. Anything where you're going to be elevated a little bit. So if you're using a chair, you could be here. Let that drop down. You can move the chair to the side. If I'm going to move my back to you so you can see. Head turns the other way and just press. Let the shoulder drop down. And then the other way. So the arm comes onto the chair. We stretch there. And then we can hold on and reach. So you could be there as well. Yeah. So you don't have to use a foam roller. I know it's lush, isn't it? So nice. With a ball, I mean, if you're using a big fit ball, absolutely you could do it. But also you could use a mini ball just for a little bit of elevation. Taking it out to the side, drop down. Taking it back Put the back of the hand onto the ball. Let me show you that way as well. There. It's such a lovely little sequence, and with a foam roller or with a chair or with a ball, anything where you can be elevated, it's going to really help to open up those shoulders. Really great. Okay, so thinking about the upper back, a lot of people really struggle with these upper back muscles, and I want to show you a couple of stretches again. We're going to use a band for this. We're going to put it around our feet, and we're going to hold on. Now, from here, can you cross that band over so you've got an X? And you can take your feet as far away as you want to. The closer you hold to your band, the deeper the stretch is going to be. We're going to lean back, tuck the bottom under, head down, make a C curve with our spine. Have a little bit of a wiggle around here. Now, can you lift one shoulder higher than the other? Lean back on that side. Let's change sides when you're ready. Head down, lean back. Come back to center. So that really helps to get into those upper back muscles. Really nice and deep. Really stretching through there. Super good. Super, really allowing that to release from here. Okay. Thinking about, again, releasing through our upper back, but also letting our shoulders release. And I'm going to show you this with the mini ball and with the foam roller. If you're going to use a mini ball, it goes kind of almost into the back of your shoulder blades here. Head comes back, so you might need that to be on a block, depending on how people feel. We're going to open up the chest here. And I want us to bring our arms into a variation of breaststroke. The sides of the hands come together. You're going to go above the head and circle round. Your back is arched through, opening up your chest and allowing your shoulders to open. Big circles round. Then you can reverse that. Go the other way. So we can bring this through. Now, if you're using a foam roller, your foam roller goes long. Pop your bottom down onto it and lay back. Make sure your head is protected. And again, we're going to open up here. We're going to come round into that variation of our breaststroke. So opening up through your chest. You can go in both directions. Really letting your shoulders stretch. Superb. Well done. And again, you can always hold out as much as you want to. Gently as you come up. So take your time there. Just see how that feels. No problem, Alison. Absolutely fine. Okay. The spine can be rolled with a foam roller to release tension and improve the mobility as long as you're going kind of this way. We would never roll the other way. So this way, we absolutely can. We can come through and foam roller into our back, especially in that lower back region. Just rolling through. So I'm bending my knees. I'm in quite a crouched position here. Going up as high as I want. Coming down as low as I need. And I can turn slightly to the side to get more into the sides of my back. And then on the other side. So just bringing that through. But if you haven't got a foam roller, then absolutely we can pick up a spiky ball Now, we never spiky ball along the spine, so never going along the vertebrae, but you can go definitely to the sides. So we can start coming down.
Touch myself.
And we can work from our spine coming outwards, so we can move more into a lateral position. And again, spiky balling through the lower back. You can work through there, change sides. So I'm going from the side of the vertebrae and I'm moving outwards. And I'm starting low around my hips to improve that mobility in my lower back, let the tension go. And then you can start to come up higher with each one that you do. Maybe spend a little bit of time there from the side coming outwards, just as far as you wish to go. So you keep going. Feel free to change sides whenever you want. Remember, you pick that ball up, place it across over your vertebrae. You never go onto the vertebrae. And you can do this all the way up to your shoulders. So if I just show you where I'm going from a back point of view, hopefully you can see this. So we would never go across the vertebrae. So you would go from the side and you would work outwards and then back in. And you can start this really low, coming through here, and then coming all the way up, right up into the neck and into the shoulders, all the way through. The other thing that's really great is a little bit of compression with the spiky ball, especially in this very lower sacral area of the spine, this area that's naturally fused and gets really quite tight. So ball under that sacral area of your spine, so kind of towards the coccyx. Feel free to have a little bit of a wriggle around, and then you're going to allow your body to go heavy. So a couple of options: feet flat down onto the floor, or you can be out wide with your knees if that works for you, or we can lift the legs up tabletop so that we get that compression happening there. And all you're going to do is literally hold. You don't have to wiggle around, you don't have to massage or anything like that. You can just stay with that compression if that works for you. And it just allows a little bit of trigger point release work to happening around that low spine, again, where a lot of people struggle with their mobility. Just pressing through. Now, if you haven't got a spiky ball, we can work on our mobility of our spine by moving our legs in. We can cross our ankles, circle round on our lower back, massage our lower spine. I know you've probably seen me do this 1,000 times. Go around the other way. But just to really reiterate it, and then do it with your feet crossed the other way so that you're not creating an imbalance. You're creating a neutral between the right left side. So we've got a little rotation that can happen there. If you bring your knees together, we can then take that up into a little bit of flexion of that lower back. Well done. And then if we want to work on feet down, tuck the pelvis under. Your shoulder bridge is one of the best moves for mobility of your spine. So coming up just vertebrae by vertebrae, start with your coccyx, peel that up, lengthen out through the top of the body. If we add in our arm float, so we take our arms up with us, we then leave them onto the floor, and then we roll down. That's going to improve our mobility of our shoulders and our latissimus dorsi, our lats. Then bring the arms down. So once the coccyx has hit the floor, once your bottom has come down, you then bring your arms down. So you leave your arms up the whole time until bottom hits floor, and then bring the arms down. And that's going to really help improve that mobility of our shoulders and our back. From here, we feel free to take our knees as wide as we wish, and we're going to roll our knees from right to left. So again, now we're working on the rotation of our spine. We can do that with our feet together and our knees together and rolling through, or even our feet off the floor and rolling through right to left. So we've got the option there of being at any level that feels good for us. Shoulders staying down in the floor. Let that release. So gang, I want us to think about the mobility of our neck as well again here. So extend your legs down. We're going to take our hands behind our head, like we're going to do a sit up. Let's lift up. Look to our feet. Lower down when you wish. You're then going to turn the head to one side. Lower down and then turn it to the other side. And then bring that back to center. That little neck sequence stretch really helps to stretch open the neck in those different directions. But if you do it with a flexed foot, you tap into a little bit of nerve flossing there as well. So just helping to release tension in the nerves as well as the muscle. Because some people are really tight and it's the nerves which are restricting their movement for sure. Slowly turn over onto your tummy. So again, working on extension of our spine here. We're going to have our hands down. Take the legs as wide as you wish, but squeeze the bottom. Coming up into a baby cobra or a swan dive position, whatever you want to call it. Inhale. Exhale. Forearms stay down on the floor. Squeeze the bottom and you're there. We've got options to stay here or to rise up into straight arm position, looking forward. Hip bones come down into the floor and then lower down. So working on that extension of our spine, looking forward, stretching through. You could do that as many times as you needed to. When you've finished, always counterbalance it with the opposite move. You're coming back, pushing back. And again, walking those hands forward. Good stuff. Releasing from here. Come to a seated position. So again, obviously the back is complex. And the mobility that you've got in your back might be affected by other areas. So not just the neck and shoulders, but your hips and your hamstrings might be affecting your lower back as well. That's a whole nother masterclass. But again, we can think about our flexibility and our movement in a seated position while you're here. Sit comfy for you. And let's come over into lateral flexion and then round into your rotation. Other side, lateral flexion, hip bones come down to the floor, and then round into our rotation. Let's do that a couple of times. So lift over, and then reach back. One more. Good work. Now, the QL, quadratus lumborum, they sit just kind of above your kidneys. They can massively affect the mobility in your back if they're tight. They get tight from quite a lot of twisting work. So if you kind of mine used to be really tight when I taught a lot of Zumba and I was doing sort of like lots of merengue stuff. So if you're doing kind of a lot of twisting action, this area can become really quite tight. Great little stretch for that is if we come into a seated tree position. We're here, and again we could use a band if we wanted to around our foot if we needed, or we could hold the foot. It's up to us. Lean over. If you have got a band, you're going to hold it both with your right hand. Your left arm is going to come up to the side, over, look to the side, push your hip bones down. What that does is it gets into that QL area on that side of our waist. Release. Well done. Change sides. So if you're not using the band, you would just lift, exhale over and hold, and then take your right arm, turn to the side and hold there. And then release. Perfect. Roll the shoulders back. Come round. I want us to sink through into like a child's pose position. Let the back stretch again here. Now, coming back up, come back to your cat stretch complex. Flexing the spine and extending. How's that range of movement now in your back? How does that feel? Does that feel any looser? Up into flexion, lateral flexion and extension as you wag your tail and look at it. And then down into extension, wag your tail and look at it. And then into that rotation. So when you're doing your cat stretch, do it as a marker, as a start and a finish, to see how that feels through the back. Good work. Turn the toes under, lift the hips and walk the hands back. Roll up. Roll through the spine, roll through the shoulders. Now think about how your shoulders feel now when we lift them and lower them. So as we come into that flexion and extension, and again, maybe think about the hand positions that we did before. Take it out wider onto our diagonal. Start to rotate our arms. So you're turning through the palms. Almost like walk like an Egyptian. That's it. Bring it out shoulder height and again twist. Come into rotation. How do your shoulders feel? Circle round. And again, they still might be clicky and clunky, but you might notice a difference. Change to the other side. Rotate round. Bring your shoulders into elevation, depression. Protraction, retraction. How do they feel? And then again, lift up and into that lateral flexion, pull back and then release. Lift up, reach over, pull back and release. We've got lots of clicks and clunks going on now, but it's feeling good to move. Well done. And then from there, thinking about again, the spine in lateral flexion. How does that feel? Now you've released QL. How does the spine feel in a rotation? And into our flexion and extension. Lifting and lowering, taking our time. Good work. Finally, with our neck, take the head over, lateral flexion. Roll the head down and round into that rotation. So improved mobility is created through movement, not so much stretching. Got the head down, chin to chest, and then back. We can help it with aids like our band, our spiky ball, our foam roller, our mini ball. Good work, roll the shoulders back. Take a breath. But essentially, it's through movement that we create better movement. Come down, roll the shoulders, take another breath. As we exhale, bring this through. take our right arm above our head and our left, right hand forward and our left, right palm in and our left. Give ourselves and each other a superb round of applause. Gang, thank you so much for joining me for that one. I really hope you enjoyed that. I hope that felt good for you. So I wanted to give you some practical application, but also to explain what you were doing and why you were doing it. And I think it's really important to make our clients realize that, like I said, movement is medicine. You know, the more they can move, the better that's going to be. And yes, there may be pre-learned movement patterns that essentially are restricting their movement. So really look at your clients, look at how they're moving, look at what's going on. You know, then you can then see whether or not, you know, is this just a pre-learned movement pattern that you've almost got to kind of reprogram, or is this a movement pattern that they're doing because there's pain or there's discomfort? You know, could we then work with what they've got, how they move, to improve that? But even just by moving, that's all that matters. You know, it doesn't matter whether or not, you know, someone can circle here or circle here, or whether or not their arm doesn't come close to their ear and it kind of comes out here. The fact that they're moving it essentially is going to be hugely beneficial. So please let me know if there is any questions at all, you know, with regards to anything that I've said, anything at all. Please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Please, if you've got any feedback or if you've got any requests for future masterclasses, I'd love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll hopefully see you really soon. Take care, guys.